Imagine this. You're Tony Stark in his high-tech lab, surrounded by glowing arc reactors, casually harnessing unlimited clean energy from a palm-sized device. But wait, what if I told you that back in 1989, two real scientists claimed they'd done something even crazier? They said they'd cracked nuclear fusion at room temperature. No billion-dollar reactors needed. Boom. Endless power for the world. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, that's the wild story of cold fusion. And today, we're diving deep into why it blew up the science world, why it flopped spectacularly, and why some folks still chase this dream. If you're into mind-bending physics, Hollywood twists, or just wondering if free energy is real, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's fusion this up. Today we're talking cold fusion, not the hot plasma stuff from ITER or those massive tokamaks. This is the controversial tabletop version that's been called everything from a breakthrough to a total scam. By the end of this video, you'll know the facts, the flops, and whether it's worth keeping an eye on. We'll even pull in some epic movie scenes and real-life drama to make it stick. Stick around, because I've got some surprising updates that might just reignite your hope, or crush it forever. First off, let's define what cold fusion even is. Traditional nuclear fusion, the kind that powers the sun, smashing atoms together to release massive energy, but it needs insane heat, like millions of degrees, and pressure to overcome the natural repulsion between atomic nuclei. That's the Coulomb barrier, folks. Think of it as two positively charged magnets pushing each other away. Hot fusion? We're talking stars, or those giant laser setups at places like the National Ignition Facility, where they finally achieved net energy gain in 2022. But cold fusion? It's the holy grail. Achieving the same reaction at room temperature, maybe in a simple jar with some heavy water and palladium electrodes. No heat, no hassle, just plug it in and power your house forever. Sounds too good to be true? Yeah, that's the hook. Now let's jump into the origin story, because this is where it gets Hollywood-level dramatic. Picture March 23, 1989. University of Utah chemists Martin Fleischmann and Stanley Pons hold a press conference announcing they've done it. Cold fusion in a test tube. They claimed their setup produced more heat than it consumed, plus neutrons and tritium, signs of nuclear reactions. The media went nuts. Headlines screamed, "Unlimited energy!" Governments scrambled. Scientists drooled. It was like the scene in Iron Man, where Tony builds his arc reactor in a cave. Except this was real lab work, promising to solve climate change, end oil wars, everything. But here's the plot twist. It all fell apart faster than a villain's plan in a Marvel movie. Other labs tried replicating it and crickets. No consistent excess heat, no reliable fusion byproducts. By summer, the Department of Energy slapped it with a "not reproducible" label. Fleischmann and Pons? Their reps tanked. Accusations of sloppy science, bad measurements. Real-life example. Caltech physicist Stephen Koonin led a panel that tore it apart, saying the heat was probably just chemical reactions, like battery effects in the palladium. Ouch. It was like that moment in Chain Reaction, the 1996 thriller with Keanu Reeves, where his character discovers cold fusion, but gets chased by shady government agents because it's too disruptive. In the movie, they blow up labs and fake deaths. Real life wasn't that explosive, but careers got nuked. Pons and Fleischmann fled to France, funded by Toyota, but never fully redeemed themselves. Why the epic fail? Let's geek out on the science. Useful info alert. The big barrier is that Coulomb thing I mentioned. Nuclei don't want to fuse without a massive energy kick. In hot fusion, plasma does the trick. In cold fusion theories, some say quantum effects in metal lattices, like palladium loaded with deuterium, heavy hydrogen, could screen the repulsion, letting atoms tunnel through. Sounds cool, right? But physics says no dice. Quantum tunneling happens, sure, like in radioactive decay, but the probabilities here are lottery-level low. Real experiments showed anomalies, but nothing scalable. Take muon-catalyzed fusion. That's a legit coldish process where muons, heavy electrons, help, but it's inefficient and needs particle accelerators. Not exactly plug and play. Despite the bust, the story didn't end. Enter low-energy nuclear reactions, or LENR, the rebranded, less flashy version. Fringe researchers argue the original dismissal was too hasty, like killing a script before the rewrite. Real-life example. In the 2000s, the U.S. Navy's Spa War lab reported weird excess heat in similar setups. They published in peer-reviewed journals claiming transmutations, turning one element into another. Skeptics? They say it's contamination or errors. But hey, in 2019, Google threw $10 million at it with Project Charleston. 30 scientists, top gear, they tested Pond-style cells and found zilch. No fusion, just chemistry. Yet they said, anomalies exist. Keep looking. That's the tease. Let's sprinkle in more pop culture to keep it fun. Remember The Saint from 1997? Val Kilmer plays a thief who steals a cold fusion formula from Elizabeth Shue's scientist character. The plot hinges on this equation that could power the world or destroy it. Classic 90s thriller vibes. In the movie, they demo it with a glowing blue liquid in a vial, heating water instantly. Total fiction, but it captures the allure. What if one breakthrough ends energy poverty? Or TV. Think The Simpsons episode where Homer invents a cold fusion device by accident, powering Springfield. Hilarious, but it mocks the hype. Real-life parallel. Andrea Rossi, an Italian inventor, claimed his ECAT device did LENR in the 2000s. Demos showed heat output. Investors poured in millions. But independent tests? Flawed or faked. Rossi's still at it, suing critics. Drama worthy of a Netflix series. Cold fusion teaches us about scientific rigor. In a world of fake news and AI hype, replication is king. Real example. During the COVID vaccine rush, we saw rushed claims debunked. Same vibe. But on the flip side, persistence pays off. Hot fusion's advancing. NIF's ignition was a milestone, proving net gain. Private companies like Commonwealth Fusion Systems are building compact reactors with superconductors, aiming for grids by 2030s. If cold fusion ever works, it'd be game-changing. No radioactive waste like fission, fuel from seawater. But right now, it's fringe. NASA dabbles in lattice confinement fusion for space, but no cigars. Diving deeper into challenges. The lack of neutrons is a red flag. Fusion should spit them out, detectable with Geiger counters. Pons claimed them, but levels were background noise. Helium-4, another byproduct, showed up sometimes, but not consistently. Theory? Maybe weak interactions or unknown physics. Fringe folks point to Whittam-Larson theory. Electrons capture protons, creating ultra-low momentum neutrons that fuse quietly. Plausible? Mainstream says it violates conservation laws. Real-life test. Japan's Mitsubishi Heavy Industries reported transmutations in the 2000s, turning cesium to praseodymium. Intriguing, but not replicated widely. If you're into this, check out the International Society for Condensed Matter Nuclear Science. They host conferences, publish papers. Let's talk risks and ethics, because science isn't just beakers. Cold fusion hype led to wasted millions. Utah poured cash into a research center that fizzled. Real example, in 1990s, India's BARC lab claimed successes, but internal reviews shut it down. Lesson? Fund basics first. But positives? It spurred electrochemistry advances, better batteries even. Hollywood loves the underdog. Think Contact with Jodie Foster, chasing alien signals against skepticism. Cold fusion's that signal. Faint, but what if? Wrapping up, is cold fusion dead? Nah, it's undead. Zombie science lurking in labs. As of 2026, ARPAE's funding tiny LENR projects, and private ventures like Brillouin Energy claim prototypes. Useful takeaway: stay skeptical but open. Science flips scripts. Remember, plate tectonics was fringe once. If cold fusion cracks, it'll be like the iPhone of energy. For now, bet on hot fusion or renewables. What do you think? Hoax or hidden gem? Drop comments below. If we hit 1,000 likes, I'll do a follow-up on hot fusion breakthroughs. Thanks for watching. Smash subscribe and see you next time. Peace out.